I was out. I was up at Longtown, and the girls had my mobile phone number, and they rang me to say that they had what they call a hung lamb. That is, the head of the lamb was hanging out of the ewes backside, and it was a very large head, and they couldn't get it back and they couldn't deliver the lamb, so I said, I'll come. So I came and I went down to the bottom of the field where they were with a quad bike. I managed to get the head of the lamb back. It seemed to be alive then, I have to say. And I tried to deliver it and failed, and I realised that there wasn't just one lamb there, but there was one enormous lamb and a smaller lamb.
Somebody could turn that quad bike off for me, please.
I did my best to deliver it using all the skill, knowledge, and I couldn't untangle them. I couldn't get the small lamb out without the big lamb. And so I decided that we must call the vets, which you could say is, you know, in a way I felt a failure, but I knew it was the right thing to do. So we called the vet, and I thought, oh, you know, he'll come, she'll come, and get the lamb out. It was a he that came, and he did come, and he tried for a bit, and he said no, he couldn't do it, and he was frightened he would damage the ewe and lose the lambs as well. So he looked at me and said, Caesar, meaning was I prepared to pay for it? And I said yes, because it seemed at least that way we would save the ewe. I realised there was a very good chance we would lose both the lambs. So he then went and got his instruments. We picked the ewe up and put her on 2 bales. And so with a massive audience of all the 3 girls who want to be vets, and then my friend who was a community midwife came and watched as well, the vet did a Caesar. We should just have shoved some artificial colostrum, some Yow's colostrum as well. I mean, it seems to be the year of the triplets. So.
Oh, not what you want, is it?
No, it isn't.
She hasn't had one before, has she?
Number's 28, so I suspect she's one of the ones that came after Foot and Mouse. That was a free Caesar. Somebody ready for this lamb?
Anna, do you want it?
What?
Lamb to swing and...
Yeah. Hope for the best.
Yep. It's a bit bigger. I'm not sure that one's alive, but
It's alive.
I have no clue it's that.
The first lamb he got out was the small one, and that was alive, and so that was a great relief. That was very good that he got that lamb out first, and then he managed to get the enormous lamb out, and I'm afraid that was dead. We attempt to lamb all our ewes outdoors, and the key is not to treat them when they're ill, but to prevent them getting ill. They're less likely to get infection. However, we do want to make sure the lambs are being properly fed. So we bring the ewes in for 2 to 3 days. They get a good bed and they get some extra food and they get lots of hay. Then they are taken to a field which is what we call clean grass. The risk of them picking up worms from that field is very, very low. I have traditional grey-faced mules, which are very much the traditional sheep of Cumbria. I wanted to have British cattle. I wanted to have something that looked nice. I wanted to have something that tasted good. I wanted to have something that was good to handle. And recently the longhorn meat has had amazing publicity from sort of telecooks and things, just saying it is the best flavour of any of the British breeds. I was the same age as Beatrix Potter when I came to Cumbria. I was 45, and to suddenly live a sort of agricultural rural life, having lived in London for 26 years, many people were amazed. We moved here in 1989 and had 19 acres, and then in the year 2000 I decided to go organic. This meant breeding my own cattle because I couldn't buy organic stores to finish, and it's just grown since then. The basis of organic farming is to look after the soil and not to abuse it. And most modern farmers are using a lot of chemicals on the land, and we don't know what the build-up of those is going to be, whether it's fertilizers, herbicides and pesticides. But undoubtedly, the consumer is much more interested in what they're eating and how their fruit, vegetables and animals that they're eating have been treated. And there is a premium for organic food now. And I think the food tastes wonderful. Organic beef is undoubtedly very, very good. I think the lamb, the flavour of the lamb has improved dramatically since we went organic. I belong to an organic cooperative called H.264 Organics, and we sell meat at and fruit and vegetables and cheese at farmers markets. There's a group of 7 of us working together, and sometimes my beef goes to the farmers markets. All my stock are fed outside in the fields, and they're fed hay, organic hay made here on the farm. I take the hay into the field with the quad bike, and we feed them in a different place in the field each day. I'm very cautious with the cattle, and people should be cautious with all cattle. If I'm doing a manoeuvre, you've just got to remember the whole time to look after your own health, because if I don't, then that's goodbye, you know, the enterprise at the croft. When the calves are about 7 months old, we wean them from the cows. The cows are almost certainly in calf. If you separate them by several fields, the cows will jump the fences to get to the calves. So what we do is put the calf or calves in a little shed with a wooden door that they can see each other through and smell each other through. The cows are running with the bull, and there's a risk that the bull will cover the heifers, and the last thing we want is a heifer that's only 7 months old getting in calf, and it would be very, very bad animal husbandry.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Coming your way, Katie. Come on.
All the stock are out. I mean, that is very different from most farmers. Most farmers winter their cattle in nowadays, but half my farm is at Armathwaite beside the River Eden, and I bought that in 2001, foot and mouth here. We've got wonderful wildflowers, and we've had a moth countdown. We had 35 different varieties of moths were found in one night, and we've got lots and lots of orchids there, so we graze very carefully to protect them. Beside the river at Armathwaite, the trees were coppiced about 40 or 50 years ago, which means they're cut down to the ground level and then the shoots come up. It's got into a great state of disrepair. There's no money available for the coppicing. You know, we don't get any grants or anything for it, but we are encouraged to do it. It's something nice to do in the winter. We have a product from it, masses and masses of firewood, but it certainly doesn't pay us to do the job. Well, my mother was a very, very keen and very good gardener, and although I didn't do much gardening with her, I undoubtedly absorbed the love of gardening from her, as it were, by osmosis. And I think I missed the contact with the land and the soil living in the city very, very much. All the fruit and veg we eat here is grown on the farm, except bananas and oranges and things. By and large, we're self-sufficient. Education at the Croft is a really important part, I think, of what we do here, partly because I've lived in the city and I know how difficult it is for young people who live in an urban environment to get experience of farming. You don't want it to slip down, okay. Yeah, well done. A student who wanted to be a vet asked me whether she could come and do work experience with me. I said, yes. We've had a series of A-level age group on the farm. And rather like babies, I think, if you hold them firmly between your knees, they feel secure. Oh, look at that. Do you see? Mm-hmm. The outside nail is curled right over the sole of the foot.
So it's just sort of getting them more blunt.
Getting them more?
Blunt?
Well, yes, you don't want to. And, well, even. Some old shepherds will say cut them till they bleed, but you certainly don't want to do that. And shortly after that started, I also started having schools visiting. I'm very enthusiastic that the children should come. The local schools are very pleased to come, and DEFRA are keen to encourage schools to visit farms. This week I've had 3 girls who all hope to be vets. They are all at different schools. Boys and girls, young men, young women, will not get into vet school if they haven't got some farm experience. And I've had a wonderful, wonderful series of mostly young women who have come to help on the farm. And the 3 that have come this week are no exception. They've worked very hard. I hope they've enjoyed themselves. They came here never having handled a sheep before in their lives. They'd never touched a sheep before. And I've tried to explain things to them, why they're doing things, not just please do this and please do that. They've worked together very well, and they've worked very well with me, and I've enjoyed having them. Any farmer who farms by themselves, the business is dependent upon my good health, and I know that, and it doesn't matter what age you are, that's the case, and many farmers do hurt their backs, and if they do, it makes it very, very difficult for them to continue. My daughter says that I shall be directing everybody from my quad bike when I'm 90. I think I've inherited a lot of my mother's genes, who was a great doer, and I'm very fortunate to be healthy, have enthusiasm, I enjoy what I'm doing, I love my nursing. I have no regrets about being a nurse, and I'm very lucky to enjoy what I do now.